Quick update on the Lectric XP build, and I got these parts together, I guess, in the problems I have that other people might have. Alright, let's start with the chain ring and the crank arm. For the crank arm, I choose the 100 to 115 millimeters crank arm. And the chain ring, you could use the stock 44 by 44. The problems you might face with that, right? When you put the crank arm and the chain ring together, right, this might not line up with the motor, right? What I did was put a piece of wood on the opposite side and bang it with an hammer until the chain ring push out enough where the motor in the chain the motor in the chain ring would align with each other. And another thing you have to look out for is, well, the clearance with the motor and the pedal. Right, when I first installed it, the pedal would always hit on the motor. Right, but as you knock the chain ring back to the crank arm, everything would take care of itself. Another issue was the wiring, right? I didn't know what wire was what, but it's probably the easiest part of this whole build, right? You're only gonna use a few wires. Well, I use a few wires. I only use the battery wire, the brake sensor wire, that's optional, but for safety reason I use it. No, this is the throttle switch wire. I use that, and then this is the power for the, make certain this is connected. This is the power for the throttle. If this is not connected, you won't be able to even, you'll be twisting the throttle and nothing will be happening. You'll be turning the key and you won't see any type of power up there. So if you have that issue, it's gonna be this wire that you missed. Yeah, I think that's about it. I kind of sorted these wires in a Y shape in order to run to two different batteries. This is for alternative range. In order for me to do that, I just disconnect this battery and then connect these to the what's it? Looks like a XT90 connector together with the battery. Let's see. So this is the XT90 connector. I just connect these two together, and I'll have my alternative battery. Not together because I don't know if that probably might cause a problem. This is how I mounted the controller. I just zip tied it from the two grooves, the stock grooves. I just zip tied it to the, whatever you call it. I think this is the rear rack mount. So I just zip tied it there, and then I zip tied it over the bar in the rear drivetrain, I guess. For the extra wires, I wrap them into, this is from my umbrella. I don't think it's waterproof because I already see a piece of it protruding right there. But I just wrapped it up together in order for water not to touch it. I have to find a better solution for that. And my wire management, which look like garbage for now. Alright. As for the battery bag, which is not actually a battery bag, this is a pannier bag I bought off Amazon. I'll list mostly stuff that I'm showing you. I'm gonna list them in the description, except for the battery because I can't find that anymore. But it's a pannier bag. I put the battery inside. It's a tight squeeze. I had to remove the base from the bag, in order for the battery to fit, and then I cut a hole on the outside and run the wires to. I'm gonna change this wire to XT90 wires in order for me to use the fast charger. That's also from Lunacycle. This battery has no range on it. I'll say you get probably around 5-10 miles out of it. So I think it's a 5 amp hour battery. I'm not sure. I think it's around 5 amp hour. And that's 20 amp hour over there. As for the brake sensors from Lunacycle, is very short. Right, you can see I tried to run it up, but I had to I couldn't run it all the way around to the stock wiring because it was so short. Let's see, what are the problems you might face? The chain. Make certain you get a long enough chain to go around the chain ring from the motor. The one that I got from Lunacycle, I thought it was gonna be long enough, but it's short. It's around the shortest chain that Lunacycle offer for this build is from around here to probably there. That's about it. So make certain you get a long chain. I had to take the chain from my son's little bicycle over there in order to do it, which I feel kind of bad about. And here for this spring right here, I had to find my own way to mount this spring because I couldn't really figure out what they did. But let me see if I could show it. Let's see, let it focus a little bit. I'm trying to get a focus. All right, there we go. The way I connected it is, I connected to this bolt. Well, all right, let me see. So it's the second bolt on this connector. I think it was one of the long bolts that I used, and I used a short riser, and then I bent it. But you have to force this up in order to get the chain around it. So it's gonna be the most difficult part, but well, not really, but it's gonna be pretty difficult. And then I use the hose clamp that it came with, and this is how I mounted it. Alright, so I just got a second hose clamp that I had lying around the house and mounted it on so I could fold the bicycle if I wanted to, but I'd have to just loosen this screw just a little bit and the motor would drop and I'll be able to fold the bike as normal. So the wiring is not as hard as it might look. I had to disconnect the pedal assist in order for this to work. I couldn't get the crank arm to connect with the pedal assist on, so I disconnected that. Probably there's a better workaround if you still want to keep the stock pedal assist, but that's what I did. And another thing, the key. I had to bend the key because, well, if you have an XP, you will know that the key hangs down. I had to take off the top off the key and then bend it up in order for the motor to come all the way up. Alright, it still works. I could shut off the bike if I want to as well, but I just keep it on. I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else to show. Sorry, I'm kind of leaning the wrong way in this jumbo, but that's the brake sensor. I don't know if brake sensor work, I guess, but yeah, that's it on the build. Oh, I'll put it together. I'm gonna do a test ride as soon as this whole, quarantine thing is over and, the whole pandemic scare. Dying for that to be over. So I could take my kids outside. Alright. Alright, so that's it. Bye.